Happy Thursday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. How's everybody doing today? My name is Caroline. Welcome back. This is a Flosstube video, entirely cross-stitch related today. I have no knitting here with me today. I have done a little bit of sock knitting, but I did not bring it with me. I am recording here in London, Ontario, Canada at the Evertote workshop where I work. And Luna is back with me today. I didn't want to say anything the last video that I did here. Luna spent about a week at home. She started having some trouble with her back legs. Luna's my dog, by the way. She is a large American Bulldog mix that we adopted around 6 years of age from the Sarnia Humane Society about three and a half years ago. She started having some trouble with her hind legs, and I was a little concerned. She's had some lumps and bumps removed that were cancerous, so I was quite worried about her. But anyways, all the blood work came back fine. It's just some arthritis, serious arthritis. It is starting to cause her problems, but it is a normal progression of dog aging, and she's now on some medication that is really helping, and she's able to come back to work with me. So you'll hear her snoozing away. She's not a delicate flower. She is loud. I know sometimes people say they can't hear her at all, and other people say they could hear her and they think it's their own dog, which is always quite funny. But anyway, I had a big giveaway, last video here on this channel. I had the Bendy Stitchy 1844 Ladyman, the chart, and the beautiful full floss pack conversion, the Roxy Floss Co conversion that we did here at Evertote. And you guys are gonna laugh when I tell you who won it. And I am telling you the truth here. This was not rigged. This was legitimate. The person who won is Shiloh, X-Stitch MD. And I already know Shiloh loves Roxy Floss. So Shiloh, congratulations. Your comment was the one chosen. I think there were 100 and, I can't remember. I'm gonna pop up the screenshot of Shiloh's win here so that you can see I'm telling you the truth. She did actually win. And this I will be sending to her. So congratulations, Shiloh. We have the model here that my friend Ellen stitched, and it's such a great chart. So you'll have fun stitching that one. I have a new giveaway for this week's video, and I'm actually I have a copious amount of old dye lot Roxy Floss that I can't sell. It's beautiful floss, but it's not shortly after. Okay, so let me start from the beginning. This is caramel floss. This is the original Roxy Floss Co caramel floss, okay, that I have here. And after Carrie dyed it, we decided that it should have less variegation, because we did it's a long story, and suffice it to say, this caramel didn't make it on the shelves, this version of it. But it's beautiful floss, and you know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's still on, it's on super old tags. So when Carrie first started dyeing floss, she was dyeing under her first name, business name, which was Leo and Roxy Yarn Co. Then her business name changed to Leo and Roxy Floss Co, and then it morphed into Roxy Floss Co, which is the current, her current company name today that she dyes under. And she has promised me that that's the last change. There won't be another change. Roxy Floss Co it is. But this caramel floss is on the old original Leo and Roxy Yarn Co tags. And I'm not gonna be selling this particular dye lot of floss. And I have, as you can see, I have a nice bunch of it here. So what I've done is I've counted it out, and I'm gonna do 6 giveaways this week. I'm going to divide this up and I'm going to send it out to 6 stitchers who will enjoy it, because it's far too pretty to just be sitting in a drawer. So it's time to send it out into the world and have some stitchers enjoy it. 2 of the packs will have 6 skeins and 4 of the packs will have 5 skeins. So leave me a comment on this video with the word caramel in it. I know people pronounce the word caramel differently. Some say caramel, some say caramel. I say caramel, it's C-A-R-A-M-E-L. So put the word caramel in your comment and I'll choose 6 people the next time I draw, which will be in 2 weeks. Now, to that note, in 2 weeks, the video that I'm going to record in 2 weeks, I will just be a couple days shy of my 6-year Flosstube anniversary. So I've got some bigger giveaways planned. So in 2 weeks, just a little heads up. So you're gonna wanna watch out for the video in a couple of weeks. I can't believe it's been 6 years. At the same time, it feels like it's been a really long time. It also feels like it's just been a blink of an eye. And for those of you who have been visiting and crafting along with me for the last 6 years, just thank you. Thanks for being a big part of my life and my family's life as well. I feel like my kids have kind of grown up in the last 6 years. So yeah, anyways, can't believe it. Okay, so caramel, that'll be the giveaway for this week. And I'm going to put it very carefully to the side so it doesn't get misplaced, because I have a lot of stitching to share with you today. I had the best stitching week. I don't know, you know what, I do know. Over on the Facebook group that's affiliated, I started it. So yes, I affiliated it with this channel. It's called Friday Off the Grid. And believe it or not, actually that's an interesting correlation there. We are up to 6,000 members on that Facebook group, which is kind of cool. So I hosted a little finish it up weekend last weekend, and I think I started on the Thursday. And basically the premise was choose some goals for yourself and then see if you can achieve them. And, you know, manageable goals. So if you were super, super close to a whip finish, then, you know, see if you could push through and finish it, or pick a section of your piece and finish that, or a page finish, or a motif finish, or a color finish. Really, the rules were really loose and wide open, and the whole point of it was just to encourage everybody. And I have to say, it was so much fun. The group was busy. The group was hopping all weekend, everybody posting their photos and sharing encouragement, and it was really fun. It was really, really fun. And so I had set 3, well, what I did was I set 1 goal at a time. I didn't start off setting 3 goals because I feel like I'm trying to, as I get older, I'm trying to get a little wiser with my own proclivities and, you know, do things in such a way that I can manifest success and not guilt or shame. I think that those are good goals to try and achieve. So I set the bar for myself where I, you know, not super low, but I set it where I thought it's manageable. If I only achieve this 1 goal for the weekend, I will be happy. And then I achieved that goal. So I set another small goal, and then I achieved that one too. So it was really fun. And long story short, I got a fair bit of stitching done. I've also been less tired this week when I get home at night, which has been a big help in having the motivation to sit down with the family after dinner and put a few more stitches in. Actually started something new yesterday. So I know, I had a new start. So I'll share that with you in a little bit. So let's get to the stitching. My first goal was to work on my stitch along that I'm hosting, which is the maximum cross stitch, my friend Ellen, the Friendship Sampler. So this is the original sampler, and we talked about this on our Evertote Flosstube, which is it's called Between Two Whips. The channel is called Evertote Notes from the Workshop, and I do a joint Flosstube video over there with Carrie, Roxy Floss Co. And so I know that I talked about this on that video for stitchers, because I'm not actually stitching this version of the chart. There are a lot of ways you can make this original chart it's customizable, so you can make it for yourself. All of the small little figures here, you can change them so that they reflect your friends, and the initials in the cartouches, of course, you can, you know, choose what you want. You can change some of the smaller motifs like the birds and the there's butterflies and flowers, and you could sort of pick your own, right? It was sort of a bit of a choose your own adventure. And when I was starting this piece, I was a little overwhelmed with the choice. And so I was speaking with Ellen about it, and I was telling her how it was, you know, I wanted to do this, but I don't know how to chart that. I don't know how to change this to make it look like that. And I didn't want to stitch the little figures, and I didn't want to stitch the initials. So what she did was she recharted it for me. And then right after I recorded this so 2 weeks ago, right after I recorded, I was working on this, and so it was during the Finish It Up weekend. I was working on it, and I texted Ellen and I said, you know, you should offer the smaller version as a PDF for sale on your website, because I suspect there's probably a lot of other stitchers who feel like I do, and they don't want to have to do the math or the work to figure it out. They would rather just have it done, and they just rather stitch it. And so that's what she's done. So there is my version, the smaller version of the Friendship Sampler is available as a PDF for purchase on Ellen's website, which is www.maximumcrossstitch.com. Now, if you purchased the large version, either as a PDF from Ellen or a large print version from me here at Evertote, Ellen is offering, we will send you the smaller PDF for free. You just have to contact us and let us know that you purchased the large version, but you'd rather stitch the smaller version, and either Ellen or I will send it to you for free. So the smaller, I'll have put in a, what do you call it? You know, a screen capture here of what the entire thing will look like when it's done, the smaller version. And here's what I got done. Ta-da! Look at that. So my goal was to completely finish the top floral border, and I did it. Gold star. And look at how pretty those colors are. Beautiful. Beautiful. So this is, I'm just so pleased. I'm so pleased with how much I got done on it. Yeah, distracted myself there for a minute. This is a 40 count linen, 40 count porcelain Roxy Floss Co linen, and I'm using the called for Roxy Floss Co flosses. So once you get going, because you know a lot of the motifs are the same, you just change your color. You know, it's a really enjoyable stitch. You don't have to keep checking the pattern to make sure that you're on the right track. It's fun. And I tell you, that border makes up a lot of the pattern. Most of the stitching is, of course, well, the huge red house. That house is not going to be a one night stitchy dealio. That's going to be a bit of work. And that border, there's a lot of stitching in that border. So to have at least one of the 4 sides done, and I know it's one of the smaller sides, but it's done. So my goal is to have this finished by the end of August. We are in the middle of June, so I better hurry up. But yeah, I was so tickled with how much I got done. I was really pleased. So that the entire top is done, except for, of course, the right hand side here, of course, needs another flower, and then it'll match up the other side. And then that entire top is done. It's not missing anything. No backstitch, no other colors missing. It is done, which I love, because then, you know, you can just watch it come to life. So it's funny that I started this one at the top and I'm working my way down, because this next piece that I'm going to show you, I started at the bottom and I'm completing my way up to the top. I don't know that there was, so I didn't want to tell you anything else about the friendship sampler, only that just a little promotion for the reason I want to finish it by the end of August, this stitch along, is because I'm starting my next stitch along on September 1st for Sampler September, which is going to be the September's Revenge chart, also by my friend Ellen, Maximum Cross Stitch. We've done a collaboration for Sampler September this year, and this is the chart that we're going to be working on. Now, Ellen's chart, she did chart it for Roxy Floss Co, but there is a DMC conversion included in the chart. And we also have a sock yarn. So there is a matching, and this is self-striping sock yarn that Heather of Timber Yarns based the color stripes off of Carrie's floss pack for September's Revenge that Ellen chose. So this was a 4-woman collaboration, because there is, of course, an Evertote bag set as well, and I sort of put the whole thing together too as well, so I maybe get a little bit of credit for that. So September 1st is going to be this stitch along, and the reason I'm promoting it on this channel and not the workshop channel is because I am going to be doing videos in the month of September for this stitch along. Now, I'm not going to be able to do 7 days a week, but my goal is to do 5 days a week, daily videos throughout the month of September. I love doing daily videos. They're a lot of fun for me, and I know they're not everybody's cup of tea. I always watch my the subscriber numbers usually dip during months that I do daily videos, because a lot of people who come for, you know, Flosstube updates, that's not your jam, and you're not interested in daily chit chat. And you know, so I'm giving you a heads up that in the month of September there's going to be daily videos. I do them as well in December for Flossmas and Vlogmas. They're just not everybody's thing, so you might want to avoid the channel in September, because that's my chance, really. It's really fun for me to do them, and well, I'm not going to apologize for that, and frankly I don't really care about my subscriber number. I love that you're here, and if I know that there are a lot of people who do enjoy the daily videos and having a daily connection, and so yeah, I really enjoy that. So I'm looking forward to that. September 1. Okay, so the second goal that I had was to finish, oh, it wasn't to finish, no. Well, it kind of was, yes. It started off as a goal to finish a roof on a house, and then it morphed itself into a larger goal over the rest of the week until today, to finish the 6-hour timer that I had set up for this piece. So I use the timer, the multi-app timer on my iPhone, and I have 6 different timers. I assign each one to a different piece, and then I give 6 hours for each timer, and then when the timer is done, I will replace. I have a lot of big whips, and I want to work on more of them more frequently, and so I find that this gives me, and the way my brain works, it gives me a little bit more focus, because I don't ever want to feel like I can't start something new, because I love starting new projects. It's a real joy for me to start new projects. But I also would like to see progress on some of the other things that I have in my stash. I love finishes. Don't get me wrong. I love having finishes and big finishes. I'm always very proud of my finishes, but for me, stitching is the activity, and if there's a finish come from the end of it, well, then that is a huge bonus. I just love stitching. So, are you ready? Hibernation Day by Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery. I started this in 2022 because I have already dated the piece, so I know I did. I started this, maybe September last year, September, October last year. And I started at the bottom. This is my own Roxy Floss Co floss conversion. All of the details on all of my projects, links and information in case you want to know more if you didn't write it down or whatever, in the drop down box below. And if I ever forget to put something there that you are interested in knowing about, I would recommend that you email me, Caroline@evertote.ca, on a video where I've done a lot of giveaways, where there's probably going to be a lot of comments. Sometimes I find I will miss questions, and I apologize. Also, sometimes if you don't get an email back from us, try us again, either Hannah or myself, or even the info@evertote.ca. There have been a couple of times where people have they've finally contacted us on Instagram or whatever, and again, that's its own little quagmire of messaging over there. And they'll say, I've been emailing you and you're not responding. And we literally have not received the emails. I don't know what it is, whether it's our server or what, but very occasionally, maybe once a month, every 6 weeks, we will have one person who will say, I haven't been able to get a hold of you. And we will scour our emails and our spam filters and everything, and nothing. And in fact, funnily enough, just so that you can see it's non-discriminatory, the most recent one was I've just hired a new packing and shipping manager here at Evertote. His name is Robert, and you'll meet him at a later date or over on the Evertote channel. He's lovely. Robert was sending me some emails. Never got him. So I don't know what to tell you. So he finally tried using a different email address, and it worked. So never worry about emailing us again. We try our best to get back within at least a couple of days. We do answer a lot of email. But if you've got any questions, email me. And so, why did I go down that rabbit hole? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, questions about anything that I'm using. This was a 28 count, This is a 28 count piece of Panettone Roxy Floss Co linen with my own floss conversion. I started at the bottom, so I'm going to keep you in suspense. I'm going to roll up as we go. So maybe I should start up here, and I'm going to roll it down. So this you've already seen. Now here we get to the new stuff. Are you ready? I finished the roof. It's all done. The house is done. And then I went ahead and I finished the top of the page. I have a page finish. Ta-da! So check it out. I finished. I only have 2 pages left. I think I have completed 4 pages and I have 2 pages left. I'm thrilled. Look at it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love it. Yeah, I love it. So, I don't know, what can I tell you? It's 2 strands of floss over 2, and stitching this little border at the top was so fun. I couldn't put it down until it was all the way across, and I finished all the letters. So just in case you can't read it, what it says already, it says, I'll take a day dressed in pajamas in a room without a view if I can spend the day curled up next to you. Let's have a hibernation day, me and you. And then I put my initials, and I put my husband John's initials, and then last year's date because, you know, I was, I don't know, thinking I could finish it in a month or so, but obviously. So I must have started this much earlier last year than September or October. It couldn't have been that late in the year. I wouldn't have been that out to lunch with thinking I could finish it. So that's the newest section there. That's all done. Isn't it great? Yeah, it's so good. So, oh, I changed the spelling on, well, I should say I corrected the spelling. Pajamas. I'm Canadian, and most, well, okay, so I say this and then I'll get comments from other Canadians who will say I don't spell pajamas that way. The British spelling of pajamas is with a Y. Many Canadians spell pajamas with a Y, and in fact, I didn't even know you could spell pajamas the way it's spelt on the chart, which is P-A-J. That, I thought it was a mistake, and I thought, oh, there's a mistake. But no, it's not. It's just one of those weird, it's like how we add U to, you know, O-U-R, like color and neighbor and all those other words. So yes, so I did change the A to the Y because otherwise it would have looked wrong to me. Yeah, pajamas. And I just took the Y from the Y was 1 square wider, so I just fiddled it around. It was very simple. Very simple. Oh, yeah. Gold star for me. I gave myself a gold star because, yeah, that was just such good progress on that. And my 6-hour timer on that piece is now complete. So the only timer that I have left from my original group of grouping of 6 that I haven't completed is Nevermore by Leela's Studio and my Amtrak. I need to get 6 hours of progress on my Sampler Cove Amtrak design. And then other than that, I've changed everything else over into different whips. So that's exciting. Okay, so I had a new start. I have been wanting to start this since Stitch North. This, in fact, since before Stitch North. So a couple of, was it a month? Not even. It wasn't even a month before Stitch North. I watched Teresa Vanette, Kitten Stitcher. She put out a Flosstube video where she released her newest book called Most Humble Hands. And I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. The Most Humble Hands, so here's the book. And it's based on marking samplers. So this book is amazing. Like, look at her artwork that she's used. It's, you know, she's got little clip art and beautiful photos, and the charts are amazing. There are, how many charts in there? At least 8. There's at least 8 samplers in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's about 7 or 8. And they're all, like, I want to stitch them all. Here's Mary Ann Newby. I love these kinds of samplers. Simple, elegant, I mean, just simple. Look at that. Look at that flower in there. And the artwork in here is incredible. It's just so fun. Look at this one. I mean, stitching an alphabet, is there anything better? Maybe a house, a bird. I'll show you another one before I show you the one that I've started with, because, oh, look at this. This is Martha Jane Beattie, 1900. Look at that. Oh, And then the other one that I'm going to stitch next, oh, this one, you have to see this one too. Elizabeth Franz, 1806. Isn't that the prettiest, most delicate thing you've ever seen? Oh. Okay, so this is the one I want to stitch next. Look at this. Anonymous darning sampler. Look at that. Look at the darning stitches there. And she does give you a diagram for those. But look at that. Isn't that the coolest thing? Yeah, I have to stitch this. Have to. I've got the perfect fabric and floss for it. I can't wait. Okay, so the one I started with. This is the sampler in here that caught both Hannah's and my eye when we were looking through the book. This is EW 1850, a classic marking sampler. This one right here. Let's get it to focus there. There we go. Now that's Teresa's version. And here's the original. To be careful not to show you part of the chart here. Let me cover it up. Ugh, hang on. This is tricky. This is tricky. Look at the original there. Right? It's so pretty. So Hannah and I thought we have to do, I want to stitch all of these samplers, and I want to stitch them all with Carrie's floss. And so Hannah chose a floss palette for me. She loosely took the DMC numbers that Teresa had provided, and then we looked at them together, and we kind of chose a couple of different ones based on the palette. And that's why I'm always asked this: do you have a DMC conversion list for Roxy flosses? And the answer is no, because many of them are not even close to DMC numbers. We could give a best guess scenario, the dartboard match, and then the next die lot would be just slightly different. It might take you closer to another DMC number. So what we love to do is choose a palette based on what the model looks like, what's our starting point. So these are the flosses that either the designer used, or if we're working with a designer, what colors do you envision for the palette. And so this is the palette that Hannah put up for me, and it is so pretty. So many times for a dark green border we'll use asparagus, and so we've lightened up this version and we're using artichoke instead, which is the one level down from asparagus. So that's artichoke. This is just navy, and we have, I can't remember the names of all of them, statuesque, I think. Yeah, statuesque is that Goldie right there. There. Roses are gold. No, wait a second. No, sorry, I was mixed up. That's the next one. This is creme brulee. So that's creme brulee. That's roses are gold. This one. Roses are gold. And then this lightest one back here is Moscato. Now, yeah, it's so pretty. I think she's done up a floss pack in the shop because I had to bring them in. So I brought these books in, and we had them for sale at Stitch North. So, and I couldn't just bring in the one book. This was the newest book from Teresa Vanette. I brought in last year's, or 2 years ago. I can't remember when she published this one. Red Letter Day. Honestly, equally as smashing as this book. She knocked them both out of the park. So let me give you a quick peek at what's in here as well. I mean, the whole book, cover to cover, is just a joy. Like, Look at the artwork. It's beautiful. Emma Loper, 1849. Such delicate font. This is a sweet little, look at that little pin pillow. Maggie Walsh. Oh, look at this. I love this. Oh. This one's anonymous, but look at that. Each one I see, I want to stitch it. That's why I love having, these in book form, because you could, it's better than reading a book, because you could just stare at them over and over again and hopes and dreams when you want to stitch next. So anyways, I started the EW 1850, a classic marking sampler from the Most Humble Hands book. Now my color palette is going to be different than what Teresa did her reproduction with, but when I look at the original, you can see the difference there between the original and the newer version. I think it's nice. I think I'm gonna have something that ends up with sort of being in between the two. So here's my start. It's very delicate, so I hope it's gonna show up okay. I'm gonna put, I'll put something behind it. There's my start. Wow, look at that. Look at how pretty that is. So just the bottom border underway, but it's not a big sampler. This is, I know I started in the middle of my piece of fabric and I totally could have started over here, but I don't know what I was just anxious. I was eager to get started. So I just started in the middle of the bottom border and I didn't bother counting or measuring anything. I just started. So it's a 36 count Panettone Roxy Floss Co linen, one strand of floss over 2, which I love the delicate color and the delicate, because it's not 2 over 2, it's not overly chunky on the 36 count, which I think is going to lend itself really well to the overall sort of delicate feel of the sampler. I think what I'm going to end up with will be a paler reproduction version than Teresa's version. Both are beautiful. Yeah. So this piece of linen, funnily enough, is a quarter. It's a wide quarter. And so this design isn't going to take up a ton of space, but I kept my fabric in the quarter size because this is another chart that I've been wanting to start for a long time. And we are, Carrie and I are going to Edmonton next week for the Stitch and Stash retreat. I know, I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna meet Jeanette. I'm gonna take a class with Jeanette Douglas. It's gonna be my first time meeting her in real life. So I'm kind of excited about that. And always, of course, meeting new stitching friends. So that's next week. We leave Ontario on Wednesday morning. And I think we get back. We don't leave until super late on Sunday night, so I won't be back home until Monday morning, but I'm going to start this other chart that I've been waiting to start, and it's time. It's time. This is Elizabeth Strickland, 1836, designed by, reproduced by my friend Chloe, who is a girl with a gavel stitches. And I have had this floss conversion done for months. The flosses are absolutely beautiful. and I want to start it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to a retreat. I'm going to, like, it's a fairly big retreat. I'm not hosting it. I get to sit and be a guest and stitch. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to start something new. Even though I just started something new, I am going to start another new thing. And I'm going to keep it on the same piece of fabric. So I just need to measure out where the top of my EW sampler will come up to, and then that will be my bottom for my Strickland, Elizabeth Strickland reproduction. 10 years old she was when she stitched this. Yeah. It's so sweet. So I'm gonna have a new start. And yes, I am going to pack and take my Hearthside lap frame. I'm doing it. I'm gonna take it because that's how I like to stitch. And you know, the footprint, I think the footprint should be okay for amount of room on my thing. All right, so I've shown you my new start, my planned new start, but guess what? It's not my only planned new start because I have another one. Oh yes, indeedy. It's just small. It's just small. It's nothing, you know, nothing huge. Jacob, Modern Folk Embroidery, came out with a whole new line of new charts, the Floranda charts, based upon the most mammoth of mammoth samplers you've ever seen. And I've been in discussion with Jacob about this project since last year, since he added this sampler to his collection and began working on his reproduction and the plans behind the Floranda floss that Carrie has dyed, based on Jacob's sort of specifications of what he was looking for and hoping for in a floss for these charts. So the Floranda floss is it is a brownish floss with some variegation and some green undertones in it. More brown than green. I know, it's not this light, it's never gonna come out. But anyways, that's the floss. It's named Floranda, V-I-E-R. I know, I have a German working here, Daniel, my favorite Daniel, and he always corrects my pronunciation. It's terrible. He's not terrible. I think it's funny. I must drive him absolutely crazy with my pronunciations. So when I say it, I try to say it correctly. The V sounds like a F, so it's Florande. I'm sure I'm getting the ending wrong, but it's beautiful floss. This is a region in, let me read this to you. It's a rural area just outside of Hamburg on the River Elbe. The name Floranda literally translates as four lands and refers to the four parishes in it. The area has a rich cultural tradition of dress and folk art. Girls in this area would create stunning samplers, which in the 19th century were often worked fully with black thread on linen. And so over time, that black floss, you know, over the course of a few hundred years, that black floss would sort of fade into this rich, beautiful, brownish tone floss that is sort of the look that he's hoping to achieve in reproducing these samplers. So there's the huge sampler reproduction. Carrie and I did a really good overview of all of the new charts on the Between Two Whips Flosstube that we recorded last week. So I'm not going to go through them all again today because I wanted to focus on the one chart that I'm going to be starting. So this is the When This You See, Remember Me. It's a Floranda style sampler. So this is an original design where Jacob took some motifs from the sampler and then he created an original design with it. So this is the chart. And I Love it. And you can see it's not massive, it's not huge, and it's monochromatic. I'm going to stitch it with the Florlanda floss, and I'm going to use a piece of 40 count Panettone linen. So this one's slightly darker dye lot than, well, actually no, they're similar, but of course this is a 36 count and this is a 40. So 40 count Panettone, I have a funny feeling it's actually going to fit on half of my wide eighth. I think. I haven't done the math. Let's do the math, shall we? That's always helpful for you if you've never had to do that before, because sometimes I get questions. So let's show you how I do it. How do you figure out how big of a piece of fabric you need? So I use an app. There's an app for that too. The one I use is called X Stitch Calc. All you need to do is just in your app, where you get your apps from, just in your search bar, cross stitch calculator, you know, do a search for that and a bunch of choices should pop up. I just use one that's called X Stitch Calc. And then the screen looks like that. I think, is that gonna focus there? There we go. You can see that. And then you just plug in your information. It's like a little stitching calculator. So the pattern stitch count, Jacob usually provides that somewhere on his pattern. We'll see if we can find it. Okay, so this, in the technical details, this design is measuring 165 crosses wide and 139 crosses high. He also gives the total number of crosses, which I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. So stitch count is 165 by 139. Then you plug in your fabric count. So I'm stitching it on a 40 count. I am stitching it over 2, and I want to add a 3-inch border, and that will tell me how much I need. So it says that my fabric should be 15 by 13. And I already know that a wide eighth measurement, this is only going to be 13 inches wide. So I've got plenty of room this way, but if I want a 3-inch border, it's not quite wide enough. But what happens if I knock that down to a 2-inch border? It should work, and it does. So if I only use a 2-inch border, my fabric should be 13 by 11. So if I only have a 2-inch border, I can get away with only using half, just slightly more than half of this piece, and then I'll have a nice section left over. I might even have enough room to stitch the other one that I want to do. I want to do the small, the mini Florlanda sampler, which is just the one little ornament motif in the middle. It's really pretty. So I should have enough fabric to do both of those on this one. Yeah, so yeah, it's a really handy little calculator. I use it all the time, like at least once or twice a day. And it's good to know these things. So now I know I'll need a 2-inch border. I can get started at any time. I might even cut my fabric down so that I can put it in a Q-snap. And then I can use, because I have adapters, I can put my Q-snap onto my lap frame, and that would even make me a little bit snugger in as well. So that's not a bad idea. So I'm going to have 2 new starts next weekend when I go to the Stitch and Stash retreat in Edmonton. And I'm really excited about, because I think there's going to be a fair bit of time to stitch. I hope so. So that's what I've got going on. I don't think I even showed you all my other, I've got this just in I keep my floss rings in just a small project bag. I didn't even show you, never took it out, my floss for my friendship sampler. Sometimes people like to see floss rings. So that's the first piece that I showed you, Ellen's friendship sampler that I'm doing the small version. That beautiful color pack. Oh, I love it. I don't think there was anything else that I didn't unpack from there. Nope, that's it. And that's all I had to show you today. That's it. So, personal stuff. I guess it's all, you know, same old life stuff. Sarah is, you know, preparing to get ready for her first big job outside of university. She thought she was going to be starting in August, but then it looks now more likely that her job won't be starting until September or October. So she's making some plans with some friends, and I think she's going to, even though she's a little bit worried about money at the moment, she's going to try and enjoy the time. So she is, yeah, so she's preparing to start work. We're just living life. Nicholas is almost in school. Here in Ontario, kids go to school until the end of June. I know many other places kids are done at the end of May, I think, beginning of June. I don't know. But here it's always been the end of June, and then they go back after Labor Day in September. We do also have Labor Day here in Canada, except we spell it with U, L-A-B-O-U-R, and that's always been the tradition. The kids go back to school after Labor Day. And so we are, you know, we're looking forward to the summer ahead. We have finally had some rain here. The wildfires in Canada, I know many of you, most of you know about them. I know the smoke from our wildfires here have been affecting everyone here in Canada, as well as down into the States, and it's been a really dreadful season already. And so very, very, very grateful that we finally had some rain. My hair isn't quite so happy. When it was super dry, my hair really liked it and was behaving a little bit more. But as soon as you add even just a little bit of humidity back into the mix, then, but anyways, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. It rained. We really, really needed it. It was desperate. So, yeah, Luna is, she's good. She's fine. She's starting to have a little bit of trouble with some of the stairs. The stairs that are inside this building are tough for her. It's easier for her to use the ones that are outside. They're a little bit larger tread and less of a, I don't know, the incline's a little less, but other than that, you know, she's 9.5 from what we gather approximately. We're not sure exactly, because she was from the Humane Society. And, you know, just normal stuff. My father-in-law is doing well, Herb. You've met him here on the channel once or twice, a couple of times. And for those of you who are following along, when I was knitting him that pair of big gray socks, he still wears those socks. He loves those socks, and he still comes and has dinner with us most nights. So he's doing well. And what else? Nicholas's feet, I think, have finally stopped growing. So you know what that means. He's the only kid who's actually been asking, like, when are you going to knit me something? Sarah just accepted them and happily wore them. But Nicholas has always asked me, when are you going to knit me a pair of socks? And he grew a lot. And I am not you know this of me, I'm not a fast sock knitter. And I know it has something to do with how many projects I work on and my attention span. But he's finally stopped, I think his feet have finally stopped growing. And when you're going to knit a pair of, let's face it, he has man-sized feet. If you're going to knit them, you want them to fit and fit for a long time. So I think that I may start a pair of socks for him. And they're not going to be all gray, because I'm not sure I could knit another pair of completely gray socks. I just don't think I could do it. So and he likes red. So maybe I could do a gray sock with a red stripe, or I don't know, something like that. Something that he'll want to wear fairly regularly. Oh, I meant to bring something to show you. Speaking of Nicholas and being knit worthy, we tidied out our mudroom. You know how, especially in places with cold climates, you will have a bin of random mittens and hats and, you know, cold weather accoutrement for going outside in the weather. And so we cleaned it out a couple of weeks ago and found in there a super old knit cowl that I had made for him. And I mean, this thing was, I purposely made it really long so that he could double wrap it, right? So it was a cowl, but it was long enough that he could do like a Mobius twist and then, you know, wear it doubly thick. They weren't allowed to wear scarves, being that they're, you know, they were a hazard. So cowls were fine. And so he wore that cowl every day for like 2 years, 2 winters worth. He wore that cowl every day. And I had completely forgotten about it. And when I pulled it out of the bag, I just got hit with this wave of really good nostalgia. Do you know what I mean? Like, just looking at this ratty, seen better days cowl that really belongs in the garbage was so poignant for me, because it just reminded me of my little boy. He's 6'2" now, and, you know, eats us out of house and home. He's such a good boy, and he's so polite, and he's a really good kid. We got really lucky, great teenagers. That so far, you know, here and there, they're normal kids, but still little and cute, and wearing this scarf every day and this cowl, and vivid memories of because I used to work at home. I used to work from home, so I was there for the morning school run and, you know, after school pickup and stuff. And so I would, you know, help him put it on every morning, and just that, you know. So I thought, yeah, I should really make him a pair of socks. I think it's time. He is definitely knit worthy. And no, I still haven't finished Sarah's Afghan, because I know that's going to be the next question. Have you finished Sarah's Afghan yet? But, you know, I have actually finished a few things for Sarah, and all Nicholas has gotten out of me knit-wise has been that one cowl, which was many, many moons ago. So I think, you know, I will not feel bad for starting a pair of socks for Nicholas at the same time that I have not finished Sarah's Afghan. I think that's okay. So yeah, other than that, that's it. I think that's all the newsy bits I had for today. So I'll see you on this channel in 2 weeks, and it will be my almost 6-year Flosstube anniversary. I think the very first video that I recorded was on July 1st, 2017. And here we are at the end, nearing the end of June, middle of June. It's still the middle of June, 2023. Let's do the math, make sure I'm correct. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, 6 years. Oh, okay, well, that's it for me. I better go. I've got to get back to work. Thank you for joining me today. As always, it's a real pleasure. I feel I love doing this. I love those of you who come and visit me and leave me wonderful comments. I'm sorry that I'm so terrible with hitting the heart and you know, leaving comments for you below, but I absolutely love reading your comments. If I've missed a question here and there, I'm really sorry. I always tell myself you've got to try harder to make sure that you hit that heart button and let them know that you've read the comment. And then I get bogged down in this perfectionist mentality. I have to try and explain this to you because I'm an over explainer. I read the comment and then I should just hit the heart button, but it feels really like it's not enough. I feel like it's not enough. I'm like, I need to go in and I need to write a comment. I need to write a response and then hit the heart button, because just hitting the heart button doesn't feel like it's enough of a conversation, right? You've taken the time to leave me a comment. I should leave you a comment in return. But time is limited. And then, so I read the comment and I'm like, right, go back, because you can't just hit the heart button. So once in a while, I'll just hit the heart button because it's like, I have to leave something. But other times I feel like it's just not enough. So then I I get caught up in this cyclone of, you know, it's just not, none of it's good. So please know that I really appreciate your comments and just joining in here with me for the conversation. It's a lot of fun. All right, on that note, I will see you. I'll see you soon. Carrie and I are doing a floss toss. I know, I'm almost done. Over on the other channel, we're going to do a Friday floss toss video tomorrow. So I was gonna show some mini hanks that we've got for sale in the shop. If there's any floss that you wanted to see in particular tomorrow on the video, I don't know, that you're thinking of a monochromatic design and you want some ideas for linen and floss, send me an email. I can't promise I can show everything, but if there's something in particular that you wanted to see, maybe we can try to squeeze that in. Okay, now I'm going for real. I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Happy stitching.